I've listened to quite a few different videos today, ranging from your typical LeBron apologists on ESPN or Nick Wright, etc., as well as independent YouTubers, the relatively small, tending to be a little bit more honest side of things. And they're going back and forth a little bit about whether or not to consider LeBron's time, which we don't even know if it's over yet, but that's normal with LeBron, right? Whether or not to consider that time to be a success. And those who are arguing that it was a success or wasn't a complete failure, the only thing you've got is the bubble chip. And it's not a legitimate championship. Like, you are using as the core of your argument to claim that not such a great time in LA at all was tolerable because at least there was a championship, and it's not even a championship. There are many, many reasons not to consider it a championship. Let's circle back to that. Let's continue on because number one, it's not a championship. Number two, LeBron James didn't bring you that championship. But let me get a little bit crazier than I usually do. Anthony Davis didn't even bring you that championship. Let me show you who brought you that championship. If you don't know what that is, it's coronavirus. That's COVID-19. LeBron James does not have a championship in LA without a virus. It doesn't happen. Continuing with stating that the bubble ring was a fluke. The way that it was played and all the circumstances surrounding it made it a fluke in itself. But it was also a fluke in terms of how good things were going in LA. Not just because they were really bad the very next season. Not just because they were really bad the season before. LeBron's mediocre playoff record of wins versus losses depends upon the time spent in the bubble, each round spent in the bubble in 2020, to get it to even mediocre. After 2020, do you know what LeBron James's playoff record is post 2020? LeBron is 16-26 in the postseason. 16-26. As in 16 on the wrong side of that equation. It took that ridiculous fake time at Disneyland to get his record to be 32-31 in the playoffs in LA. And that's just crapping on how bad his playoff record is. There's 2 times he didn't even get to the playoffs. Kobe Bryant missed the playoffs twice in 20 years. LeBron did it twice in his short tenure in LA. And these guys are talking about, it was an incredibly successful time in LA for LeBron James. Kobe delivered 5 championships, or at least he was a part of 5 championships. Any of you guys who pay attention to my channel know that I cheered against Kobe. I wasn't a big Kobe guy, but as a competitor, and in terms of delivering, he just blows LeBron James out of the water. 5 rings. The only thing LeBron can offer you is a fake Mickey Mouse ring and missing the playoffs twice. Okay, Kobe 5 legitimate championships and missing the playoffs twice. LeBron James 1 Mickey Mouse ring and missing the playoffs twice. It sounds like you could more easily make an argument that this was a terrible failure, especially when you factor in the $350 million that went into LeBron James's pocket. And you got guys out here saying that it was a success.
And it seems like not only with LeBron, but a lot of people these days, every declaration is actually a confession.
Yep. And in this case, too. Claiming that this was a success is a confession that it was a miserable failure. Let's put those terrible numbers that I quoted earlier into perspective. Just how bad is that by comparison, Skip?
That is, over that span of 6 years, the single worst playoff winning percentage in the entire National Basketball Association. 16-26, the worst.
The LeBron James apologists are so anxious to make excuses for him, they don't even consider how offensive they're being to other people, such as talking about the bubble chip being difficult because of time away from family, which, I'm sorry, I don't buy that at all. First and foremost, let's understand that when it comes to LeBron James, we suddenly have to stop talking about basketball and start talking about other things in the desperate attempts to make excuses. If you want to talk about family, okay, whatever. That is not talking about your performance on the basketball court. That is not talking about what happened on the basketball court. It's weird that you even have to go there. If anything, it should have made it easier to play basketball, to be more focused on doing their jobs. And speaking of jobs, how many people are separated from their families longer than the basketball players were, who went and enjoyed themselves, enjoyed resort life, and the job in the middle of that resort life was to play basketball? We're talking about approximately 3 months. They were in the bubble for about 3 months. People outside of the bubble weren't allowed to leave their buildings in some places in the world for a way longer period of time than that. I wonder how soldiers feel hearing LeBron James complain about doing a bit when he's at a resort for 3 months. And these guys are on deployments that last close to years before they see their families again. And yes, it was LeBron James making the headlines, complaining while in the bubble. That's LeBron. That's your boy. That is your boy, LeBron fans. If his mouth is moving, he's complaining, complimenting himself, or lying. And it's interesting to me that no one's brought this up while the pundits, the apologists, talk about the 3 months spent in the bubble. No one talks about the bonus 4.5 months that they got with their families. They had a 4.5 month break when they would normally be in an NBA season. This break that allowed old LeBron James and injury-prone Anthony Davis to be able to go in to the bubble and make it. You got 4.5 extra months with your family. That more than cancels out the 3 months without your family that you're complaining about. Furthermore, LeBron's desire to be with his family is lip service. His actions don't back up what he's saying. Let's start with recent events and work backwards, since it incorporates LeBron's lying also. In the post-game press conference, he's telling everybody about how he shows up to the game 5 hours early, which I think is an exaggeration. And if it's not, stupid that he's there that early. That doesn't make you a better basketball player. It does show a desire to be away from your family at all costs. If he was there 5 hours early, the announcers would be telling us, because they tell us whenever he's there 2 hours early, 3 hours early. LeBron had to take it to 5 hours early. This is the same guy who JJ Redick said that they canceled the shoot-arounds because a 41-year-old can't be on his feet twice a day. But you will show up to the facility 5 hours early? That does not make sense. Does not make sense. Until you realize that he's not doing shit during those 5 hours except getting massages and sitting in a jacuzzi and getting his protein shakes made for him and shit like that. You're just being catered to and enjoying things that don't involve your family. At least half of NBA fans wish LeBron James had retired years ago. If he missed his family so badly, he should have. If he missed his family so badly, then in between games, he shouldn't be spending that time recording another podcast, recording another propaganda LeBron James show, making more commercials for every product on the planet, for gambling companies, for shoe companies, for liquor companies, for chip companies. LeBron, go see your family. Well, other people have endorsements. Yeah, and we don't have to hear them complain about not seeing their family. Once again, the debate about, oh, should LeBron stay in LA and LeBron doesn't know what to do? Should LeBron take a veteran's minimum and stay in LA? If he actually gives a shit about his family, yeah. You think his family wants to leave again, especially his youngest? You know that's hard on the young kids. You know how important friendships are. Anyway, this is a completely side rant because it didn't matter in the first place. It's a terrible excuse. Oh, I missed my family, so it was a hard basketball championship to win. God, I mean, it's amazing how whining and complaining is so eagerly embraced. LeBron does support family businesses, though. Here's one. The first husband and wife LeBron James propaganda team. Consider that these zero integrity sellouts that make excuses for LeBron James, because that's in fact what their job is, are the same people that are offended that other people rank Kobe above LeBron. Again, we're talking about somebody that I cheered against, and now you got me defending him. Kobe's resume, staying put one place, is better than LeBron's cumulative resume as he hops around looking for the best opportunities to steal fake championships. And Kobe's resume is still better. Kobe missed the playoffs twice in 20 years. And I don't even have to look past LeBron's time in LA to see the equivalent of missed playoff time. By the way, both of Kobe's missed playoff years, he had legitimate injuries. Not LeBron James bullshit injuries, like legitimate injuries. 5 non-Mickey Mouse rings in one place in 20 years. In 23 years of jumping around to the best opportunity and running whenever the going got tough, LeBron James still only has 4, and those aren't even real. So yeah, you disgusting clowns that act offended that people put LeBron at number 2. Have you ever thought about how offensive you are and how many people you are disrespecting by putting LeBron at number 2? Of course not, because the LeBron James propaganda machine has been running for so long, so relentlessly, people have actually been brainwashed into just thinking, oh yeah, that's disrespectful. And the only person who can be disrespected is LeBron. No one else can be disrespected. You can say whatever you want about them. It's only LeBron James that you can't have your own opinion about. What kind of sick, brainwashed mentality is that? You see what I'm doing here? LeBron James is so far away from being MJ. I've actually managed not to use MJ in these comparisons. It's not necessary. LeBron isn't the other people. Forget MJ. The double standards of LeBron James treatment carry over to this I wasn't appreciated narrative that's going on right now. LeBron, when did you ever show appreciation to the Lakers? Anyway, that's an entire nother video. How about the crybaby victimhood story about, oh, they tried to push LeBron out? Since when do franchises not have the right to change personnel? LeBron is stealing from them, holding them back. Let's flip that around and look at Rich Paul, who, his own words, with Max Kellerman, says, I told Darius, sorry, your time in Cleveland is done. I'm sending you to LA. No consultation, no asking what the client wanted, which is really weird because I thought that Rich Paul worked for Darius. I thought the players hired the agents. And here we have LA, a franchise who hired LeBron and is paying LeBron, and they don't have any rights in whether or not to keep their employee. But Rich Paul, who is the employee, gets to boss around his clients. Hey, your life as you know it is over because I said so. Guys, I already have hours of ranting just of the BS that's come out in the media since LeBron James was once again embarrassingly eliminated and the distraction techniques that are being used. So I gotta stop. I'm just gonna go back and try and edit it all. This is part 1. I'm not gonna include the rest in this one. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned.